How you doing, guys? Welcome back to another video. I have been feeling a bit bad lately and not been too active because of that, also focusing on work and school. But as you can see, the title of today's video, Ron DeSantis versus Joe Biden in 2024. Now, this one is maybe the second most talked about scenario after Trump versus Biden, or Trump versus Harris, or Biden versus Harris. And to be honest, as Biden's approval ratings are right now, DeSantis could very well be elected president. It just depends on the primary, how it turns out. So, yeah. I am going to start by filling in the safe states, and I am going to be a bit hesitant with filling in some of these states simply because the margins could really narrow as bad as the economy is right now. DC, of course, is safe. And yeah, I think that a lot of his unpopularity in states like Colorado comes from I think that Trump really is much more unpopular in these states, but with the trends, Colorado is probably going to be safe still, and New Mexico and Virginia likely. I forgot Alaska, it's safe, and both Texas and Florida will be likely by margins. I definitely think they will go red. I just think that the margins would be less than 10. So there you have the start. 2nd District of Nebraska, we're going to leave as a toss-up for now, just so I'm sure. Everything that we see from Biden's approval ratings to suburban revolt against the Democratic Party is really effective. I forgot New York also. And that is really going to be the case here. I think that Connecticut and New Jersey would both go to Biden, but right now, yeah, you know what? Still safe margin, still more than 10 when I think about it. And in Maine at large, lean Democrats, 2nd District safe for DeSantis. And now we come into the more competitive territory, with the single exception of Ohio, which would still be likely. Now, compared to Trump, DeSantis is stronger in the South. He is probably not as strong in some states like Michigan, Ohio, West Virginia, Mississippi, and Missouri. But I think he is much stronger in, well, say, Georgia and Texas, maybe even Arizona. And, well, that's probably going to be helpful for him, but not too much in the Rust Belt. Regardless, I think that DeSantis will win both North Carolina and Georgia by lean margins. So we're talking less than 5 points here. The reason I think Georgia will go red, even though it voted for a Democrat for the first time and trended extremely, is simply because the Trump numbers were also bad among many independent and typical Republicans, like women voters, college-educated white men, and they could definitely be a lot better, and they would be a lot better with a crashing economy and DeSantis on top of the ticket, since he has this southern appeal. And Trump was not a very good fit for the state of Georgia. He was a much better fit for North Carolina, where he actually improved over both McCain and Romney. At least he did so in 2016. But going on, Wisconsin I think would be still a lean state for DeSantis. I think he will win it by less than 5, but it could be up to 2, 3, maybe 4 point margin for him in that state. Same thing in Pennsylvania. Yes, Joe Biden has that home state appeal. Home state, I mean, he was born there. But to be honest, the so-called suburban erosion, which is also a term, has been applied a lot in the Philadelphia suburbs, and with DeSantis maybe not doing as well as Trump in the rural West, he is definitely doing better in other parts, such as Chester County and Montgomery, maybe even Bucks. Let's go on. I think that he would win both Nevada and Arizona at West, and that of course puts him well over 270. Pennsylvania was the state that got him there. And then you have states like New Hampshire, Michigan, and Minnesota. Minnesota just keeps surprising, so I guess it would still go to Biden. When it comes to Michigan, I think actually DeSantis would win it just because of the economy. it could improve. It could improve until 2024, but DeSantis would do better than Trump in Kent County, which is Grand Rapids, traditionally Republican, and he would do pretty well in places like Macomb, which is more of a bellwether, more Trumpian Democrats. And yeah, well, the second district on Nebraska, that's a tough one. I actually think DeSantis nails it out, or edges it out, with a extremely narrow margin. And then you have New Hampshire, the last state. Let's see, New Hampshire actually not voted for a Republican since the year 2000. So it's definitely a tough one. How bad is the economy in New Hampshire? Alright, I don't know. But looking at the history of the state, I just have to assume that it actually still goes for Biden, even though he would be 82 years old when this would be going on. Yeah, he would turn 82 just weeks after the election, and would definitely be too old. So that could also go against him in this map. I don't know if it would be a decisive margin or that it would change the outcome, but I think he would lose if he decided to run for re-election. I think that would be a very unpopular decision among the American people. But that's it. 313 votes for DeSantis, 225 for Biden. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.